welcome back to my channel. I wasn't planning on filming at all today, but I've just been kind of hanging out. Sorry, it's so dark in here. It's been thunderstorming all day, so I have no overhead lighting in my living room, so lighting is not the best part about my house, but I've just been hanging out watching some YouTube videos this morning while I drank my coffee, and I'm frustrated. So I thought I would hop on and talk about that. So I've been watching these, these weight loss channels, and I follow a few, and they're trying to lose like a pretty extreme amount of weight, which is fantastic. Like, I'm so happy that they decided to make this decision. But rather than, and I don't know if they're doing it this certain way because it's going to get them more views on YouTube or what the deal is, but they're not using any sort of professional help. And anyone who is trying to lose more than 100 pounds or more, you need to get professional help. You need a dietitian to help guide you through that. I follow several accounts on YouTube, several channels that they're weight loss channels, and their goal is to lose like 100 pounds or more. Like, they have a huge weight loss goal, which is fantastic. Like, I'm so glad that these people have made the decision to not only do something really, really hard, which is to lose weight, especially a significant amount of weight, but that they're brave enough to document themselves through this process. The part where I get frustrated is that none of these people have enlisted any professional help in this process at all. And I understand that maybe you don't need professional help. I don't know if it's because it's going to get them more views on YouTube or like what the deal is, but they're using these methods of weight loss that they're reading on the internet, and a lot of them are pretty good methods, but they're not doing it properly because they're not getting any professional advice from someone who knows what they're doing. So, for example, the reason I'm so frustrated about it today is, so I preach about carb cycling. I love carb cycling. I think it is a sustainable way to lose weight and to keep it off long term. I've tried keto, I've tried Whole30, I've done all these other things, but it wasn't until a dietitian told me to carb cycle that I saw a sustainable way to keep living. I'm getting really preachy, I'm sorry. But I'm just frustrated because these people, this person in particular, said that she tried carb cycling, and her method, what she's doing is she's trying something new every month and seeing how much weight she loses every month doing that method. They're not getting any professional help for these methods at all. And so they're using these methods they find on the internet, which is great. Some of them are really good methods, that's awesome. But I think women, especially women trying to lose 100 pounds or more, you really need to consult a dietitian. You really do. Because sure, the weight will fall off doing whatever you're doing that you read on the internet, I'm sure, but will it stay off? Probably not. So, that's my experience doing keto and Whole30 and all of these other kind of fad diets when I was younger, and I would finish, the end date came, I lost all the weight I wanted to lose, and then I immediately started going back to eating how I was eating before, and then I gained all the weight back and more, and that was a cycle that has been pretty vicious in my life until March, when I really decided to make a change. And so I've only been working on this new lifestyle since March, but I'm doing it in a way that I can keep doing this forever. And I don't think that eating low carb to lose 100 pounds is a sustainable way to keep the weight off. I just don't. And one of these YouTubers I'm following, they do a different sort of method or diet or I don't know. They try something new every single month, basically. And 1 month is not enough time for anything to work. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you got this information. Carb cycling for 1 month will not do anything for you. It is a long-term thing. So to get frustrated that you lost half a pound less than you did doing keto because you introduced some rice into your diet is absolute nonsense to me. It just frustrates me to no end. I was watching this video today, and she said that she decided carb cycling just wasn't for her. She tried it for a couple weeks, and she decided she just feels better on a low to moderate carb diet and not doing regular carb days at all. Here are my thoughts about that. A couple weeks or a month is not enough time to decide that something doesn't work. Weight loss is not linear. It is all over the place. You could have a really good week and lose 2 pounds and then not lose anything for several weeks. That's just how it works. It's not a linear process. So for her to try anything for a month and then decide it doesn't work, I think is just utter nonsense. But for her to try carb cycling after doing low carb for several months at this point, of course she doesn't feel good. She doesn't feel normal because her body has been deprived of all of these carbs for so long that she's not used to it. And another thing she probably doesn't even realize is she might have some sort of gluten intolerance that she doesn't know about because she cut it all out and her body's not used to consuming gluten. Now, I don't know what she was eating on regular carb days, but I can guarantee it wasn't a gluten-free diet. So maybe she has a gluten intolerance she didn't even know about. And now she knows about it, but she's not going to realize that because she just thinks that it's carbs in general, which is ridiculous. You need carbs to lose weight and you need carbs to keep the weight off. And I'm never going to not say that until research proves otherwise. But this is what research has shown. Literally, ask any dietitian. You need carbs to keep the weight off, period. So yeah, she's now decided carb cycling isn't for her. She's gonna go back to low and moderate carbs. I don't know what moderate carbs means. I don't know what high carb meant for her. For me, a regular carb day is only about 200 grams. And 200 grams is about 500 less grams of carbs than the average American consumes, which is insane, but you don't need that many. So if she's overeating on her carbs, then sure, she's probably gonna feel like shit. But here's the thing, if you're doing low carb for all this time, and then you say, I'm gonna start introducing carbs back into my diet, and you're gonna bloat, you're not gonna feel good for a little bit because your body doesn't know what these things are anymore. You're having to reintroduce it to your body. And then you have to get used to processing that again. And that takes way more time than a month. So it's just nuts. A lot of the kind of weight loss groups that I'm a part of and the program that I do, a lot of people complain of the carb flu. So when they stop eating, 600 grams of carbs a day, because that's what Americans do, they feel like they have the flu for like 2 or 3 days because your body literally is not used to not having that many carbs to process. And so yeah, you get flu-like symptoms and then it goes away. And so if you think about, like, that's the process your body has to go through to get used to not having that amount of carbs, and then you get used to having that amount to like no carbs essentially, and then you reintroduce them again. Why would you think you would just feel chipper and amazing all day? You won't. So I don't know if she's gone back to eating bread or what, but like maybe she has a gluten intolerance and that's why she doesn't feel so great. But it's not the carbs' fault. It's these fad diets that people keep doing that is making them feel crappy. And then it just makes me mad. You need to eat carbs. Like that's stupid. It's so dumb. Do some low carb days throughout the week, but then have some carbs. At least 3 days a week. Hopefully 4. Have some carbs. It's okay. It's necessary. You need to eat some freaking carbs. I'm just frustrated with these like weight loss channels because I realize not everyone can afford to, call a dietitian and get advice. There are people who are trying to start their own weight loss journeys and they're tuning in to these YouTubers who have zero consistency about how they eat and what they're preaching. And everything month to month is different. And like, how confusing is that? If you have no clue what the first fundamentals of nutrition are, and then you're tuning into a channel who's trying something new every month, and that, this doesn't work for me, so I'm just gonna scrap it. This didn't work for me, so just forget it. I'm not going to do that anymore. how are you supposed to learn anything? And also, that teaches you that if something doesn't work after a month, it doesn't work at all, which is it's not true. And everything for everyone happens in different ways. You know, like I have friends who started their weight loss journeys, and they lost 2 pounds a week without fail until they just couldn't lose any more weight because their body just said, we don't have any more to give. But then for me, you know, if I step on the scale now, I'm probably only about 10 pounds lighter than I was in January, and it's September now. So weight loss for me is very slow, but my entire body composition is different. Like I look completely different than I did this time last year, but I'm really not any lighter. So, and if you're seeing change in your body, then what you're doing is working. The number on the scale doesn't matter. So the way that I measure all of my progress is through progress pictures and measurements, and that's it. I might step on the scale like every couple months just for shits and gigs, but I don't recommend that you do that if you're easily triggered. It's taken me months to get to the point where I can step on the scale, see a number that's maybe the same that it was a couple months ago, and not care. It's taken me a long time to get to that point. So if it triggers you to step on the scale, don't do it, because health is so much more than just what you weigh. If you're working out, you're eating right, you're eating things that are fueling your body, you're active, and you're treating yourself with respect, that's all that matters. It's not anyone else's business to tell you that you need to lose weight. It's something you need to decide for yourself. Like it's weight loss is a temporary goal, and temporary goals only get you so far. Because I mean, I've seen people lose all kinds of weight, and then they get to that weight, their goal weight, the weight they thought they were going to be happy at, and it's still not what they want to be. They thought they would be happy, they thought life would be so much better, and it's not. They feel the exact same. So it's definitely a mental thing that everyone has to come about in their own time. And yes, there are people who can help you get there. But I mean, weight loss and making a lifestyle change that is sustainable, which is something that I'm focusing on. Like, I want to be able to keep working out and eating right and doing all this stuff because I want to do it, not because I'm doing it to reach a goal. Like, my goal is to want to do life this way, you know? So it took me a lot of mental work to get there. I wasn't mentally ready to get back in the gym, so I would try to work out for a few weeks, wouldn't really see any results because I didn't necessarily know what I was doing, and would get frustrated and quit and just go back to how things were. And so that's a cycle a lot of people go through. And so just know that, like, you're not alone in that. It's super, super common, and I'm sure that more people than you realize suffer with the same sort of mentality. So it takes a lot of mental work to get yourself out of there. And until you're ready to put in that work and you're ready to analyze why you are the way you are, and maybe you need help to do that, you need counseling or therapy to do that, I recommend that you do that. Make a sustainable change. It's a mental game. Physically, it is not as difficult as it is mentally. And so developing that mental toughness that you need to be able to get on a better lifestyle path, it takes a lot of work. And so if you're going through that right now, I commend you. You can and you will do this. And if you have any questions or you need any support, please feel free to reach out to me, either on here, on Instagram or Twitter or wherever, because if I can help you, I want to help you. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about today while I'm standing in front of you ranting like a lunatic about carbohydrates. I think I covered everything that I really wanted to cover with that. Thanks for watching this.